Hi, and welcome to Mark's Motivational Podcast for this Authors Tuesday, another Authors Tuesday. So today I'm delighted to be joined by another great guest, author Bernadette Kloth. So you're very welcome along today, Bernadette.
Yes, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, you're very welcome along. Thanks a lot for joining me. So we'll probably start the podcast off today. If you wouldn't mind telling the listeners a little bit about yourself and the books you've written.
Okay. I grew up on the East Coast of Florida,
Yeah.
and I had one sister and two brothers. I was blessed to be in a wonderful family, a Christian family, and I moved to Virginia, got married, and had four children. And I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. And when my youngest went to kindergarten, I started working.
Great, yeah.
And I didn't start writing my books until after I retired from my job at the Veterans Hospital.
Okay. And yeah, your book looks absolutely brilliant. Do you want to talk a little bit about your book that you've written? It looks great. I love the concept of it. Adam and Eve, and it's really good. I'm looking forward to reading it myself. So if you could just tell the listeners a little bit about it, please, Bernadette.
Yes, I'd love to. Well, first of all, I was inspired by Max Lucado's book, An Angel's Story.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of came up with the idea. And when I first started the book, I didn't start out with creation, and I kind of got lost. And I put the book on the shelf for a while and then took it back out and realized I needed to start from the beginning. So it was a book about who goes down to earth, and he's the donkey who carries Mary to Bethlehem. And he encounters a lot of obstacles along the way. And he has two friends with him, but in the end, he's by himself, and he has to believe in himself for them to make it safely to their destination.
Yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds really, really good. And did it take you long to write the book, Bernadette?
Yes, it did, because like I said, the first time I started writing it, I wrote too much information. I was trying to teach too much about the angels and, stories in the Bible. So when I was able to realize that I needed to get on a different track, it did take me a couple of years to write it.
Yeah, but it's a great sense of achievement when you have it written and published. Have you self-published yourself, or did you go the original route?
I did self-publish this one, and I have a wonderful illustrator, Dennis Prolox, who did the illustrations.
Great.
And the beauty about having him as an illustrator is you get to tell him what you want the pictures to look like and how many illustrations that you want in the book. And he did a beautiful job.
Great, that's brilliant. Yeah, because like when you self-publish like that, you're under control yourself, and you can have it exactly the way you want it. Like because you've written it, so that's a great idea. So I'm delighted it's worked out so well for you.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so I'm going to share the links to it on the show notes as well for everybody to check out as well. And where can people buy your book as well, Bernadette? Where can people?
They can buy it on Amazon. And I'm trying to get it on Barnes and Noble, but I haven't been able to do that. Thing would be online anyway.
Yeah.
With the way things are. I haven't got any books into the bookstores yet. I was working on that before the pandemic on my first book. But when that came along, that kind of put a kink in that plans.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to hear that now. But yeah, and you've written other books as well, Bernadette. What's the names of the other books as well?
Well, the first book I had published in 2019 was The Adventures of Toby the Sea Turtle.
Great.
And I watched a documentary about sea turtles and how they're an endangered species. So that's where I got the idea to write that book. And then there was this little girl who loved the book so much that her mother told my daughter, your mom needs to write more adventures. So I ended up writing the sequel, which was The Pirate Ship to the first book. And they were both published before I published An Angel Named Trouble.
Yeah. And did you self-publish them, or did you have a publishing house do that?
Well, here's what happened. I did self-publish the first book because I had that wonderful illustrator. He also uploaded everything to Amazon for me. But a small publishing company picked up that book and ultimately the sequel, Two Girls in a Reading Corner. But when I wrote An Angel Named Trouble, I wanted to have a little bit more control as far as the price. I love the other publishing company too. I mean, she does a lot of the marketing. That's something I do not like to do. But so now I've got to figure out ways of marketing this one.
Right. That's brilliant. So it's great, you learn as you go along with you, isn't it? It's like everything, like
You do. I have learned a lot.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, that's great. So if you want to, I think you've already sent me the links as well, so I'm going to put them up on the show notes for people to check out for you as well.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and no problem at all. And how is the COVID situation? Has that kind of have you found it hard to write during the lockdowns yourself? Have you found it a struggle?
No, actually, the lockdown helped me a lot because I was focused on writing, and also I was helping my younger brother put together two of his nonfiction books. So I was pretty busy during the pandemic, and it's still kind of going on. So
I know. Unfortunately so. But yeah, that's great news. You kind of, because it's very important for anybody like to keep themselves busy through these times as well. It's great to have like something that you love doing, isn't it?
Yes, I do. I love doing it. Writing comes from my soul, and I've written poetry and short stories and everything, but that was a long time ago, and I never thought I was going to be a children's book author until, like I said, this story popped in my head, and I got inspired by another book. So
yeah, that's
it was a surprise.
Yeah, and you were saying your own children kind of motivate you a bit as well. They kind of got you inspired as well.
Yes, they did. I used to read to them when they were little. They loved to read the old stories like the Three Little Pigs and those type of stories. But yeah, they have been very supportive of me with my books. So I can't complain about them at all.
Because you get some great ideas from your children, don't you? Like
I do get some great ideas from my children, and you got to keep busy, your mind busy. So that's what I.
Do you have a picture? Have you got a book with you that you can maybe show people that are looking on YouTube, just to give them a preview of what it looks like, please, Bernadette?
I don't know. Can you see that?
Oh, I can see that perfect. Oh, that's really, really good. Yeah, I can see it. It's a lovely cover. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm a creative person, so being able to collaborate with the illustrations meant a lot to me. Yeah. And here's my other book, the first book I ever published.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really nice. Yeah, it's very well done. Very well done.
And I try to have
lots
messages.
of great color to it, isn't there?
Yes, he's fabulous. And I try to have messages in my books. Because when I was growing up, I used to love to read Hans Christian Andersen, and there was always a moral to the story. Yeah. So I like to have a little message in my books.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to get your message across in your writing, isn't it? Because it's funny, the ideas that come to you when you write, isn't it? Like, and then it's good to kind of write them down and help other people as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And yeah, this is brilliant, Bernadette. Thanks a lot for coming on. And just to ask you as well, kind of what motivates you in your writing? If you could say one thing that kind of motivates you to keep you going.
It's an inner call in my soul, I would say. Especially the book I've written, the latest book I've written, An Angel Named Trouble, because I was brought up in a home where my mother made God the center of our home, and faith was the foundation of our home.
Mm.
And when you're growing up and you're a kid, you don't really think about that. But when you get older, you realize the value in having parents that install that in their children.
Yeah, definitely. Like I could understand because my mom was the exact same. She kind of gave us that faith, and it always stays with you as well, doesn't it? You know, it's always with
Yes,
you.
it does.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's great, and thanks a lot for sharing that with everybody. That's really, really good. Because yeah, I love it. Like, could you say maybe something in your background that made you write children's stories, or something that you could think of that, you know, from your old career that made
Well,
you.
well, I think because the book about the sea turtle, living in Florida, my mother used to take us to the beach in the summers.
Yeah.
And I just love the beach. And when I found out that the sea turtles were endangered, I wrote the book. Although a lot of authors nowadays are adding information about helping the sea turtles. But what I did was I wrote on the back of my book that I picked out a hawksbill sea turtle, and they help to maintain the health of the coral reefs in our oceans. And they have threats like they can get caught in fishing gear, plastic, and also there's a turtle shell trade. So there's simple actions that we can take, to help maintain the beauty of our world and creation.
Definitely, that's brilliant, and that's great for young kids to read as well. To kind of get educated, to be able to do something as well to help as well nature. You know, so that's a great thing to do, because like the way you were saying that you're giving message in your book. So I think that's really, really cool, really, really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, so well
Thank
done
you.
with that. And what types of books as well do you like to read yourself, Bernadette?
Well, I love the book Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. That was a fantastic book. One of the messages in my book about an angel named Trouble is you need to believe in yourself.
Mm,
And I also like books that, like The Four Agreements by Don Miguel
what a book.
Ruiz. I mean, the wisdom that you get in reading a book like that is just
Yeah, that's one of my personal favorites as
remarkable.
well. Absolutely brilliant. Like don't take things serious, don't take things to heart, and all the different
Right.
agreements. It's a really good one, isn't it? Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
and the
one.
Fifth Agreement too.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
the Fifth Agreement? I've got to remember. Oh, be skeptical, but learn to listen. And I
Yeah,
am a good listener,
yeah, yeah,
so I can say that. Maybe not
yeah,
a good orator, but a good listener.
yeah. No, because yeah, them books, I agree with you 100%. Like there's so much information and helpful tips in to keep yourself motivated, and you know they're just priceless, them books really to read. So I have that in common with you big time with that. Definitely, because there's a really good one I'm reading there at the moment. It's called it's Kate Benson. She wrote it. Oh god, the name's just mind. Uh Teaching Excellence, it's called.
Okay, I think I've heard of that book. I'll have to check
Yeah,
it out.
it's really good. Like even for helping kids, it's based around children, like at school, or teachers to help teachers. But like even for your own children, like you know, for doing their homework, it's a different way of looking at things. You know, it's a really really good book. Yeah, yeah, it's one to look at with. Yeah,
Right.
it's really good. No, so that's really cool. Thanks very much for coming on the podcast, and I wish you all the success with your books going forward. You know.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This was my first author podcast.
Yeah, no, it's great. No, no, it's great. I feel privileged now. It's my first interview, so that's great. And probably one other thing, do you know the way you've got your books? A lot of audio books seem to be getting popular now. Have you ever thought about making your book, any of your books, into audio versions yourself?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. An Angel Named Trouble, you can listen to it if you have a Kindle. Audio, I used to belong to audiobooks, and I do love audiobooks because they give a more dramatic presentation in the beginning and the end of the book. But you can also listen. I don't know if you have to have Kindle Unlimited, but because my book was uploaded in Word, you can go into your Kindle and set settings where you can listen to the story. And you can pick a female voice, a male voice, the speed of the voice. And I listen to a lot of books on Kindle Unlimited, especially when I go to sleep at night, my motivational books.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was really pleased. My other two books weren't, you can't listen to them on Kindle, but they have a lot of illustrations, and they're more of a book that a child would want to hold and look at the illustrations and the pictures.
Yeah, but that's great, because I wouldn't have known that you could actually do that, like on Kindle Unlimited, and probably a lot of listeners wouldn't have known that. So that's brilliant. Thanks a lot for sharing that with everybody.
Right, you can even do it on the regular Kindle as long as you have a Kindle, and you can go. Now, I take that back, because the earlier generation Kindles, you probably can't do that. But I don't know how far you have to go in a Kindle before they added that. And I think it's a great feature for people who have trouble with their eyesight. You can enlarge the text on the Kindle, but then you can't see as much on a page. So to be able to listen to it, I think I don't know where they came up with that, but it's a fantastic idea.
It really is. It's great, because I'd be like yourself. I love listening to the audiobooks when I'm out running or going away on the way to work on my bike or on the bus. It's just great. It's so handy to be able to listen to all the, like, you can even, like, there's a really good thing. I don't know if it's whereabouts you live in America? Whereabouts in America you live? Florida, of course, yeah. But there's a library in Ireland. There's a library in the libraries. You can get you can rent books from the library, and they're called Borrow Box, where you get Kindle books and you can borrow them and go straight to the device. So that's a really good thing for anybody who's listening, yourself as well. There should be something like that equivalent in Florida.
Right.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. But no, this is great. Thanks very much for coming on. I really appreciate it, Bernadette. Just one other thing, if you could kind of give, because it's a motivational podcast, so if you could kind of give a tip from your experience in writing to keep people motivated, what would you say to them?
You need to believe in something and really love something, a topic. And that's what keeps you going. I mean, it's in your soul, it's in your heart. Your book almost becomes your baby, when it's born and you get it published. And don't give up. Believe in yourself. I had somebody give me a negative, not review, but I was in a writer's group, and it was the first time I went to the writer's group at a library. And somebody made a negative comment about my book, and there you go back to don't take things personally. But everybody has their own niche, the type of reading that they like to do and what they believe. Reviews are, I've gotten some very good reviews on my Angel book so far, but I mean, people give negative reviews too, and I guess you just have to realize, don't take it personally, don't give up, and believe in yourself.
That's brilliant advice. That's really good. Thanks very much, Bernadette. That's brilliant. Yeah, because the writers groups are really good. I'm involved in one in Dublin, in Ireland, where a lot of people across the world have joined it now because of the COVID situation. It's gone on Zoom, so like every week. Every Saturday it's on. I'll share a link to it on the podcast show notes. But the guy that runs it, he gives a prompt that you need to write off. Like so he gives a prompt each week, and it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that comes out of it when you make the prompt your own. So the stories that come out are incredible, really. In your writers group, did you work off them prompts like that, Bernadette?
Well, what happened was when I got that negative comment, I didn't go back to that particular writers group. But I mean, because it was a writers group, it wasn't just for children's authors, it was for, and lots of genres. So I went back to another writers group and I joined on Zoom. It was during the pandemic. And they were all children's authors. So that made a big difference because they zero in on what you're writing. They understand. And I've got some very good comments and advice, and we just support each other.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I
it's all
love
about.
the group I'm in now. They're
That's great.
fantastic.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about, helping each other out. Because that's what I love about doing these podcasts, because you meet so many different authors and you get some great ideas of so many great authors. Like it's really, really good. Like I'm delighted I started already, So thank you very much for all the advice you gave everybody tonight as well, Bernadette.
You do what?
No, thanks a million for all the advice you've given out tonight, Bernadette.
Oh, the advice. Okay.
Yeah,
Your accent. I love your accent.
yeah, yeah. I actually love Florida. We're in Florida a few years ago, so we'll definitely hopefully go back.
Yeah, I would love to go to Ireland one day. I have
Yeah.
ancestry from Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Ancestors from Ireland.
Oh, great. Yeah, you have loads of people to show you around, so.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
If this pandemic ever
Hopefully, yeah.
finally.
Yeah. But listen, I really, really appreciate coming on tonight, Bernadette. It's been great talking to you, and I wish you all the success going forward with your books. So that was Bernadette Kloth, everybody, and thanks a million for joining me.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
Take care. Talk to you soon. Okay, so
All
thanks
right.
everybody for joining today's podcast, Mark's Motivational Podcast. Tune in on Thursday. We're going to have another podcast on. Take care. Thanks again.